the gains and the pains, these can be, considered as, goals and fears, aspirations and desire, whatever you want to call them. I just call them gain and pain because they rhyme. Um, but for the most part, people are typically responding to anything from one of two motivators. They're either one, they want to gain something, or two, they want to avoid some type of pain. So those are really the only two motivators. Now, what we found is that, there's a certain segment of the population that tends to be driven towards some goal, and then there's a segment of the population that tends to be driven by getting away from pains and or fears. Your job is to dive into and understand what's applicable for your market. So like, for example, the internet marketing space is almost all driven by gain. You very rarely hear people say things like, oh yeah, if you don't get our product, you're going to stay broke for the rest of your life. You don't hear a whole lot of that. It's typically buy our thing, make your life easier, do this thing faster, make more money, buy these things, go on vacation, have more time, blah, blah, blah. That's typically how you hear most of those being sold. Now, you also might find in the health space that, well, being a certain type of way creates these certain type of ailments, or stop the pain in your knees, or eliminate arthritis overnight, or cut out 20 pounds of fat in 10 minutes. Those are getting away from pains. You'll typically find B2B is going to be more towards gains, and you'll find a lot of consumer things tend to be away from pains. But either way, you need to understand what your target market is so you can speak to those things. One of the things that I've said in the past is, hey, stop buying, $1,000 webinar, $1,000 programs every month. Because again, that's the pain that most people are dealing with. I know that most people get caught up in the shiny object syndrome. I know that. So I speak to that. So you want to understand what those pains and frustrations are for your audience.